For over a decade, Dr. Mark DeVolder has motivated and equipped thousands to navigate change, build high levels of trust, and become fully engaged at work and at home. In 2010, Mark received the prestigious Top 5 Speaker Award in Change Management. Whether he's opening or closing your conference or speaking to a group of CEOs, you can count on Mark DeVolder for cutting-edge content, entertaining audience interaction, valuable takeaways, all illustrated by unstoppable humor and memorable stories. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the change specialist, Dr. Mark DeVolder.
When I saw this study, I was so excited. I said to my wife, you got to listen to this. This is fantastic. There's a factory in England that found out that they had one of their shifts that was underperforming compared to the others. So management got the entire shift together and said, what we would like you to do is set new targets so that you can improve your performance. But they did a very clever thing. Rather than assuming that management would know what would motivate them, management said to the shift workers, they said, if you achieve these targets, what would you like as a reward? Very clever. You know what they came back with? All the workers huddled, and they came back and said, here's what we want. And management thought, have we set ourselves up? The workers said, we want T-shirts that say, best shift ever. Management scratched their head and thought, that's a whole lot cheaper than what we were going to do. So they said, okay, go for it. The shift accomplished those targets above and beyond, and then walked around proudly, best shift ever. My wife said to me after I told her that story, she said, you know, Mark, that would work for wives too. I'm going to offer to you what I would term the 3 most important questions that any manager can ask and demonstrate that he or she knows the answer to. The 3 most important questions, I'm going to state them first of all in the positive, and then I'm going to show you the same sets of questions stated negatively. I think the more powerful is the slide coming up. Management needs to demonstrate, first of all, very quickly and simply, what is the change that we're talking about. Then, what is going to be different? Why are we doing it? This is the rationale behind any kind of change initiative. And then, who is gaining from this? That's stated in the positive. But if we really want to help people let go, look at this set. When a manager demonstrates that he or she understands what people are going to be losing, it helps them to accept and let go. How many have heard of the game Balderdash? A number of you? Good, I'm glad. Because in a moment, we're going to play the game Balderdash. This is the time when you want to choose the person who is the most intelligent in the room to partner up with. Let me show you what the word is. The word is liminality. Now, I need to say one thing quickly. Keep your hands on the tables. No one reaching for your smartphone. I know this group. So, the word is liminality. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Work with a partner, come up with a definition, and I'm going to give a couple of you an opportunity to show off. Ready, go. The word is liminality. What is liminality?
The ability to overcome limitations.
Did you look up the definition? No. Not even close.
Liminality, the proximity in flavor to the citrus family of the fruit specific to the southern region of Argentina. Liminality.
Big round of applause. That's great. We study transitions because oftentimes it's the transitions that make change the most difficult. Anyone familiar with Captain Abrashoff of the USS Benfold? Wrote a book called it's your ship. When he came on as the captain, 310 sailors, very low morale and high turnover rate. Similar kind of strategy. When he took over, he said to all of his staff, I want to schedule individual interviews with every sailor. And after he asked each person individually what their name was, where they were from, if they were married, then he asked 3 questions. What do you like about the Navy? What do you dislike about the Navy? And is there a better way? But you know what question he focused on more than any? The second one. What do you dislike about the Navy? And he kept hearing the same thing over and over again. You know what people hated? They hated scraping the ship and painting it. Every month, some sailor had to be involved in that duty. So Abrashoff said, is there a better way? And one sailor came up with a suggestion, said, what if we took and changed all of the nuts and bolts in the ship to stainless steel? Abrashoff thought, that's a good idea. I mean, it's constantly rusting, so if we had stainless steel, that should work. Asked the question to another sailor, is there a better way? And another sailor said, actually, there's a new process where you heat up the metal, you flame spray some paint on that has a rust inhibitor right in it, and then powder coat it afterward. And the sailor said, I don't think it's that expensive. Abrashoff checked it out, and do you know how much it cost? $25,000. And it was good for 30 years. It was a no-brainer. Abrashoff did it, and the level of engagement just rose dramatically. From that point on, you know what? They operated on only 75% of their budget. Not because they were trying to save money, but because everyone kept coming up with great ideas about how they could improve things. They wanted to give input. They wanted to have influence. But the group that really concerns me are those that are actively disengaged. They are deeply unhappy and distrustful of others. And oftentimes, something happened drastic that made them actively disengaged. They often will enter into sabotage and do things against the organization and against their co-workers. Again, I was in a restaurant in Toronto last year. And I was looking forward to a nice meal. I sat down. The server came up to me, and I said, because I'd never been in the restaurant before, I said, what do you recommend? He said, going to another restaurant. Now, I almost got up and walked out, but I was curious. Why would he say that? So I said, what's behind that comment? And then he went on to tell me all of the unreasonable things that his manager required of him. He couldn't talk on the cell phone to his girlfriend when he was talking with guests in the restaurant and things like that. Well, I stayed and had a wonderful meal, but you know what I did before I left? I went to another server and I said, could you get the manager for me? And I said to the manager, I got to tell you what this server said to me. You are losing money because of this guy. He's actively disengaged.
Mark DeVolder's client list is impressive. IBM, Gibraltar Industries, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Again and again, audiences give Mark DeVolder full marks. Thought-provoking and dynamic, moving and powerful. Mark DeVolder receives my highest praise. Book Mark DeVolder today and see the profound connection between highly motivated employees and increased productivity and profitability. Get change ready. Get engaged with the change specialist, Dr. Mark DeVolder.